streaming. Perfect. All right, we should be live. All right, we should be live. Perfect. All right, they're going to hear me again. Welcome, everybody, to Dial In Live, Week 8 preview. I'm Fuzzy. That's Baker over there. So we are not joined by Cap. Cap is on the IR this week, whereas I was last time. So me and Baker are going to go ahead and walk through our Week 8 preview, what we're expecting to see. We got some interesting topics to chat about here. My Steelers may not be as dead as everybody's thinking. There's going to be one team. Yeah, there's going to be one team that is going to be completely dead. Bet your house on this other team we are going to tell you about today. You need to do it. You will win a lot of money. There's a couple other teams. I like money. There's a couple other teams out there that are very, very interesting. Have you heard of the Broncos? Have you heard of the Buccaneers? Both begin with a B. It's because they're B-style teams. We'll see how it goes. But let's hop right into it. Baker, I hope you're doing well, brother. Thank you for joining me today.
Doing great, man. Ready to go live for the first time.
Dude,
exciting. Let's get it taken care of.
It is exciting. It's nice. It's nice. So I'm going to go off this list that I have here. Starting off, TJ Watt. Watt is going to be back. Mark my words. The Steelers have till 4 p.m. today to announce that he is going to be returning this weekend against the Eagles. And I believe he's going to play. Everything that they have been talking about has been pointing him to returning today instead of the week after the bye, which makes me super pumped, very excited, very happy. I hope he does it. I don't know about you, what your thoughts on TJ is.
He's going to change the whole dynamic of the defense. He's going to bring it back to the steel curtain defense. Yep. It's going to be fantastic. Me and Cap were going on and on about Micah.
Yep.
On
dude, I was listening to it while I was editing it. I was editing it. I'm like, these guys are talking about Micah Parsons like it's crazy. By the way, twitch.tv/fuzzy_BE4R. I do the editing for the podcast and stuff live over there. So if you wanted to watch that as well, you can. Shameless plug.
In the back of our minds, we knew, oh, if Fuzzy was here, he'd be having some other things to say.
Oh, dude, while I'm editing the video, I was pausing it. I was like, these fucking guys are dick riding Micah Parsons so bad. But it's true. It's very true. It's very true. He's my lock right now for Defensive Player of the Year. Justin Poirier is on the back burner for me. Minkah Fitzpatrick's on the back burner for me right now. Von Miller's a contestant, in my opinion. He's playing lights out right now for the Bills. Aaron Donald has been really lackluster this year. TJ Watt's been injured. You've got Myles Garrett with Cleveland has been injured. I don't see anywhere else besides Micah Parsons.
Yeah, none of the big names coming into the year are really keeping on track due to injuries, and more so like Aaron Donald, the whole team's kind of been not playing up to the expectation. So it's really hard to win an award when the whole team's kind of lackluster, for a lack of a better term. So
yeah, and
I agree with you.
It is not. Sorry.
I'm in my Niners gear for the day. We had a little bit of an uproar after last podcast, which was great. But it does seem like the Dallas guy, Micah Parsons, is ready to go. Like, he's locked that in for now. We'll see if he could ride the rest of the year out on a high note.
And it's not Myles Garrett's fault that he was injured. I mean, he should have just hit the deer next time, while he's driving. Fuck his Porsche, I mean, he flipped it. So not his fault. Glad he's better. Glad he's playing again. Two other names that we didn't mention: David Crosby and Chandler Jones. Both with the Raiders are playing really well. And Chandler Jones he's been really good the past few years, but he's been under the radar compared to these other big names. And
just because he's been moving around.
Yeah, and
Right?
I
When he
think
moved over to the Cardinals, it took a year or two for that to really catch back up.
yeah, and I mean he's been playing really well out in Las Vegas. I'm wondering if he's able to keep it up. I don't believe he's injured at all. Same with David Crosby. I think that would be an interesting one as well. Moving on. There's been multiple reports that if the Steelers lose another game, with a poor offensive or unit, that Matt Canada is going to be gone. So that was being reported by Andrew Filipponi, on Twitter, who said he heard it from Aditi Kikabwala, and then Aditi actually got into his replies and said that is completely false. That is not true. She just said that it was highly unlikely. Or let's see if I can pull that entire tweet up. But I must say, everybody here in Pittsburgh absolutely hates Matt Canada, and they want Matt Canada to be gone. They wish that he could, just fucking leave already, because it's been.
So you're hoping the reports are true?
I do. I want the Steelers to tank against the Eagles. That way, Matt Canada will be fired.
I hear it. Yeah. It's like, hey, it would be great to pull off a win here, but it is an expected loss. So it would be great if that loss turned into a Canada getting shipped out.
All right. So here it is. It says All Access with Aditi Kikabwala says on 93.7 The Fan that she talked. Or no. Sorry. This is about Chase Claypool. This is something else I want to talk about. Let's see.
Oh boy.
Yeah, this Chase Claypool stuff is getting extremely interesting. I wonder if Filipponi actually deleted his tweet. So if you don't know who Andrew Filipponi is, he is one of the local beat writers. Well, I guess he's not really a beat writer. He's a radio show co-host here in Pittsburgh, and pretty much whenever he bets on something, everybody else in the area bets the complete opposite. Because he's always wrong. He's fucking horrible. Let's see. Where?
That is great.
I think he deleted the tweet.
Like my week 6 picks.
I think he deleted the tweet. God damn you, Filipponi. Okay, well, this sucks. I should have screen grabbed it. Either way, Aditi called him out in the replies, and it was great. So he has now mentioned this one with Aditi. Says that she talked to 2 NFL GMs who said they're not hearing Chase Claypool talked about in trade circles, and one of those GMs said he put a 6th or 7th round pick trade value on Chase Claypool.
That is wild.
Yeah, extremely wild. I know he hasn't been playing well last year. But he showed up big in a couple of games this year. And if they're going to trade, I'm sure the Steelers are going to want like a 3rd and a 5th for Chase.
I was going to say, I would think that a 3rd would be low. They'd start with asking for a 2nd.
Oh, 100%.
To be a 5th or a 6th or a 7th rating for a pick exchange, that's what your thought going in is. That is wild. And if that was really the price, you would expect the door to be getting kicked in by multiple teams looking for a wide receiver right now.
Oh, 100%. I know the Cowboys there's rumors that the Cowboys are looking for another weapon right now. And they would be all over Chase Claypool. I think the Cowboys, the Packers, who else? 49ers probably could use another weapon. Rams could definitely use a weapon with Odell not showing up yet. We're still waiting on Odell as well. Kansas City doesn't really need another weapon.
Chase Claypool for a 6th round pick, and you can afford him under the cap right now, or you could just go restructure somebody's deal just to get him on your roster right now.
Well, he's a rookie on a rookie.
Every single team should be willing or looking at that. It doesn't
100%.
even matter what it is. The only teams that shouldn't be trading for that are the ones that are selling. And even at a certain point, even if you're rebuilding, Chase Claypool would be a great piece to have in your room and to build around for the future. So you're not going to find somebody of that value for a 6th round pick. So it's just crazy that that's what was getting floated around.
Yeah, it's extremely surprising. All right. So in our brief little intro, I mentioned bet your house on this team. So I know you are gonna love this, Baker. You're absolutely gonna love
Boy,
this, and I'm surprised.
Probably not if you're gonna say it.
I'm surprised you haven't done this yet. Bet your house on the Minnesota Vikings this week.
Hey, do not listen to this man. As a Minnesota Vikings fan, I could just say 2 words for you. Wide left.
Oh.
Just be careful.
Bet your house on the Vikings. Reason being, Call of Duty launched Thursday night or Friday morning at midnight. Kyler Murray is glued to his PlayStation right now, grinding the fuck out of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, getting his ass beat in skill-based matchmaking, and he wants to win so bad, he's going to forget he has a game on Sunday, and it's going to be fantastic. Bet your money. And he's going to want this game to be over as early as possible. That way he can go back home and play more Call of Duty.
He's got it set up on the plane for the ride home.
On the plane, in the
He's ready to
hotel.
go. Yep.
Yeah. It's that's I think you're going to know who my pick is.
Oh yeah, I'm just picking the teams that I root for is the hardest thing for me to do, because if they lose, it's a double kick. It hurts.
That's one reason why I don't like to bet on the Steelers. I've always been like that.
Yeah, but you keep your money and your love in 2 separate areas.
Yep.
Love the Steelers, so you always support them.
You're gonna have a blind faith on them.
Just that much more.
Yeah. Some interesting news that we have been known that was going to be coming for a while now. Tom Brady has announced his divorce from Gisele Bündchen after 13 years. They said it was an amicable divorce or amicable decision. It's very unfortunate. You don't like to hear about people getting a divorce. This has been very widespread in the media. It's one of the most high-profile divorces that I can think of in our recent time. So we don't really need to cover it. Just since that popped up, gotta let that know.
It's out there. It's happening.
It's unfortunate.
And we're moving on.
Yep. Broncos CEO Greg Penner says Russell Wilson hasn't performed to his expectations, but he will still be great.
By what measurement? By waking up his teammates on a plane as he does high knees down the center aisle? Like,
if I was Russell Wilson's teammate and I am on a plane to London, I am going to be beating the ever-living shit out of Russell Wilson as much as possible if he is waking my ass up on a plane ride. That's what, like, that,
oh, man.
That's like an 11-hour plane ride, isn't it? Because they're flying from Denver?
He's high kneeing one way, right down the aisle. He gets to the front, looks at all the guys playing cards, gives away one of the guys' hands and starts high kneeing back and stretching back to the back of the plane. He is just killing me.
Ugh.
And I was hook, line, and sinker in fantasy this year for Russell Wilson. And let me tell you, it's been a rough ride. It makes you not like him that much more.
Yeah. So what's something that's interesting is Greg Penner's been the CEO of the Denver Broncos since 2015. And as we know, Peyton Manning retired in March of 2016. And I'm curious if Mr. Penner doesn't really know football like he's supposed to as a CEO. He had a very bad Peyton Manning that final year in Denver, and they were sort of carried by the defense, like pretty hardcore. I wonder if that's what he's comparing Russell Wilson's greatness to. And if it is,
yeah, he just has a difference in opinion on how to win games since he was able to get through and get a Super Bowl with Peyton.
Yeah.
And kind of forgot, that was not the expectation as Peyton went out and things. They They won a few games, but that defense was amazing, carried everything. And they got a good defense now, but it is not that level. It is not we can overcome just about anything that the offense is putting out there.
Yep. Let's see. Here's an interesting fact. Josh Allen has the highest career passer rating in primetime games among quarterbacks with 300 or more passing attempts. Guy's a monster, fucking baller. He's gonna lead the Bills to a quarterback or to a Super Bowl this year, or not this year. I think they will this year, but sometime in his lifetime, because he is way too good.
I think last year was the window opening, and they're right in that window. And I don't think the Super Bowl window is not going to close for a few years.
I don't think so either. Another interesting fact. This is how weird the NFL season has been this year. Baker Mayfield is now backing up PJ Walker, and Matt Ryan is now backing up Sam Ehlinger. That Matt Ryan experiment in Indianapolis has costed me a lot of money. It has costed a lot of people a lot of money, and I'm happy it's over. And because it appears to be 100% over.
I thought so. Obviously, my phone's been blowing up with some of the Niners talk in the last podcast, and then I saw a tweet, and it was, "Will the Niners be trading for Matt Ryan?" And I thought, well, I can't even send this tweet out now. I'm already taking enough flack. I could only imagine the response if I start spreading this out there. But that would be the next comedy that I think would happen, is if he got shipped out by Tuesday's deadline.
Yeah, 100%. Interesting quote out of Ryan Clark. He says, and I quote, "Outside of Lamar Jackson, Justin Fields is the most explosive, athletic quarterback we have with the football in his hand." Thoughts?
I agree. I told you guys that I would take Justin Fields over Kirk Cousins right now with the contract, and that I'm the only person in the free world that believes this. But he really is that dynamic. He just isn't a great passer of the ball yet. He doesn't anticipate open windows. But Josh Allen is a monster. He just kind of runs with power and aggression, so it doesn't seem as, the word they use was dynamic, right? But obviously Josh Allen, the number one on that list as far as quarterbacks go, but dynamic and playmaking with the ball in their hand, I could see how Justin Fields gets kind of put up there in that category.
Yeah. When I first saw that quote, my first initial reaction was Josh Allen's going to be giving a phone call to Ryan Clark. And rightfully so, in my opinion. I still personally feel like Josh Allen is the best quarterback, bar none. Now I'm wondering if Ryan Clark's talking about speed as explosiveness, because Josh Allen's not he's not the quickest, but man, can he do fucking everything else?
Yep. And I mean, I think that he runs really well. Just that dynamic word is kind of what makes me think the speed and the agility and the change of direction and kind of those sort of things. And Lamar is definitely in a class of his own when that comes up. But I do think that that's Justin Fields' bread and butter at this point. That is how he has a starting spot, is because he is those things with the ball in his hand. Once he decides to pull it down and run. When he's still trying to pass, it's, you can still see that he's getting the answers a bit slow and the windows are closing on him and things like that. But once he runs, man, it's electrifying.
Yeah. And then here's some good news for our big guys. Me being a big guy, I love seeing stuff like this. Browns have extended their long snapper, Charlie Hewlett, I believe is his name. He just got a 4-year extension with an $865,000 signing bonus. So congratulations to him.
To get out and start long snapping. This sounds like a Sounds like a move.
Well, let's see what his entire contract is worth. So with it being a 4-year extension, he was given 1.9 million guaranteed.
Yeah. I'll get a little lower back brace on so I could stay bent over for a while, and I'll just sit there practicing snap after snap after snap.
Yep. And his prior contract was 6 years for $6.37 million. So I mean, he had a nice little breakdown. But this one, they don't mention his average annual salary yet. So I'm curious if he's going to be around that $1 million mark again. By the way, he was a UCF boy, and I grew up in Oviedo, which is Eastern Orlando, like 5 minutes from UCF. So love seeing that. When did he get into the league? 2012. That's not too.
Dang, it's a nice 10-year career, and he's still going, getting extended. Got
hell yeah, for another 4 years.
Like it.
Congratulations, Charlie. Love seeing it. All right, let's move on to some injuries that are plaguing the league. So, unfortunate news for the Steelers. Chris Boswell, one of the best kickers in the league, in my opinion, is out this week with a groin injury. He has not looked super stellar this year. I feel like there's been something going on, and now we have that injury to show. Another big injury that has just taken place. Jamar Chase has suffered a hairline hip fracture and a torn labrum. They are not putting him on IR, however, and he is not expected to miss more than 3 weeks. This is a massive blow to them.
Yeah, he's a dog, and like, I like his attitude when he's on the field and everything like that. But at some point, you just might want to take the 6 weeks and make sure you're fully healed and you're good to go. I like him not going on IR so that if they are struggling without him, he does have the ability to kind of make that decision on his own and come back a little bit. But we had kind of talked about, Mike Williams getting hurt because he always jumps up and he gets up there, and then the way he lands, and a hip injury seems like that could be something that could really, really kind of linger with those types of plays if you're making that in the end zone and whatnot. So Jamar Chase, best of luck. Really, really want to see you back in action. It's a good time watching it, but just make sure you're good to go before you come back. That's gonna be a long time of pain right there.
Yep. We have Andrew Preeb in the chat saying, because Chase is superhuman and heals faster than any other person. He's got that Wolverine blood.
Oh, he's been hanging out with Russell Wilson. Let's go.
Oh, God. Fucking Russell Wilson, man. Everything comes back to Russ.
I love it. Hey, he's a cartoon character. How can it not? It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's interesting, to say the least.
And you're gonna see. I'm still slightly on the bandwagon. We'll get there. It's wild.
You're still on the Broncos bandwagon?
I don't know what's happening. We'll get to it when we start making picks. But
okay.
Yeah, it's
all right.
It's a wild world we live in.
Okay. Up next, MRI confirms that the Buccaneers linebacker Shaq Barrett suffered a torn Achilles and will be out 7 to 9 months. Thoughts and prayers go out to him. That's a very unfortunate injury for the Bucs. Yeah, they've got a lot of injuries this year. They're definitely not.
Yeah, their whole attitude's kind of taken, a little bit of a downtrot from Super Bowl, and then last year not getting back there, and now this year it's most of the same players. Obviously, there's a couple changes here and there, and that offensive line really getting the injuries preseason and beginning of the season has just changed the entire dynamic of the whole roster.
Yeah, it was really unfortunate. Their center, losing him, it was preseason, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was such a big blow for them. Here's a big injury as well. David Njoku has been ruled out against the Bengals for the Monday Night Football game, Browns versus Bengals. Those AFC North matchups are such a such. They're some of the greatest rivalries in the NFL, in my opinion. All four teams absolutely hate each other. That's going to be
It's
a blow.
It's the rivalry games that I always expect, like lower scoring games. They really kind of run the ball more and just beat the hell out of each other. They really want to get their hands on each other. They don't want any of this tinky tack pass around the ball. They just want to just heads down and start clearing space. And it is a fun time to watch.
Another big injury for a team this weekend. 49ers wide receiver Deebo Samuel has been officially listed as out this Sunday against the Rams with a hamstring injury. It's super unfortunate there. I wonder how those Niners are going to do.
I'm expecting that Christian McCaffrey play a little bit more in the slot this week, kind of gets motioned out a little bit more to fill that Deebo hole. There was a little bit of whispers that Jeff Wilson Jr. is on the trade block. He is available to get moved. So I'm thinking that he might get used a little bit more this week than he was last week to give him one last kind of showcase.
Yeah.
To really kind of show other teams what you could get in a trade market. So I'd expect him to get more touches and see CMC getting more in the reception game. And that will be a good game. The Rams have kind of been playing lackluster this year. So
very lackluster.
I hope that this Deebo situation, they're playing it well, and that coming out of the bye, he'll be good to go back at it.
Yeah, I think so. I was really surprised to see how they started off with Christian McCaffrey last week. The 49ers, that is. Like they started off really, really strong, and then they just abandoned the run game completely, it seemed. And with CMC getting another week out in San Fran, I think that's going to be a big thing for him. It's going to be it's definitely going to be an interesting game. But let's see. Up next,
talking to a lot of those Niner fans, they want to see him in the perimeter.
Yeah, those
so
that would be interesting. We didn't really get to see a lot of that from McCaffrey, I don't think, in Carolina. So I don't know. Up next, it appears that Malik Willis is going to get his first start of the season for the Titans in week 8 against the Titans. Ryan Tannehill started the week with a missed practice due to an ankle injury. And then he had he's suffering with an illness today, placing his availability into question. I think let Ryan Tannehill sit, let him recover fully, especially if it's something that I just dealt with. It's not fun. So I just dealt with bacterial pneumonia. Nothing, I'm sure, what he's dealing with, but it was no fun. Let Malik start, man. Let's see what the kid's got. They drafted him for a reason. He seemed really impressive when he came in for Ryan earlier in the season. He almost reminds me of a Lamar Jackson, Justin Fields style player, and he was very good out in Liberty. So fuck it.
Very, very dynamic when he breaks the pocket and gets out on the move. But the only negative that I heard from the staff that they were saying is just we want him to pass more.
Yeah.
When we call pass plays, we'd like him to really accept that it's a pass play and pass it.
Yeah.
And kind of more often than not, he's really comfortable pulling the ball down and running.
Which is a big issue that Justin Fields had as well.
Yes. Yep. And we're hoping that he develops that passing game too, but imagine Justin Fields at the beginning of the year last year.
Mm-hmm.
You would kind of expect to see a little bit more of that in Malik if he gets the start this Sunday.
100%. I believe that's the main big injuries that are going on this week. Couple of trade info that is coming out. Browns are now shopping for Kareem Hunt. They want a 4th round pick for him. I think somebody somewhere will give a 4th round pick for Kareem Hunt. I see it happening. It's just interesting.
I don't know what the cost for Kamara is. There's rumors that he's going to get traded, but you'd think, let's say Kamara's a second, I'd be happy with a fourth for
Oh,
Kareem Hunt.
100%.
That would be great to me.
He's a starter in somebody else's team, 100%.
I mean, what I'd really like, and it's impossible. It's will not happen.
Mhm.
But let's make Andy Reid happy. Get him back that cream-filled donut. Really get that offense moving again. That's what we're talking about.
I could see the Chiefs doing that 100%. You know, he knows their system very well.
Yep.
Yeah, that would be a good pickup. You know, him and CEH splitting. Yeah, I could see that. Another big thing that's coming up, Brandon Cooks from the Houston Texans. Rams are trying to acquire him. So Rams
That's comedy.
Yeah. Oh man.
That poor guy. He plays great. He is an extremely talented wide receiver that seems to never get a shot really on whatever team he is. Like, no matter how well he plays, it's still take it with a grain of salt. It's just Brandon Cooks. And it's like, dude, but the guy's good.
Yep. Let's see. Just looking over really quick here. All right, that looks like everything really crazy going on around the league. I've got a couple other things, but we'll start covering our games of the week. So, yourself and Cap both chose the Ravens on Thursday night against the Bucks. So did I. I know I wasn't able to get that pick out to you guys, but you did mention you're pretty sure that's who I was going with.
That was the expectation.
Yeah, I can't go with the Bucks. They're so injured. They're not looking like the Bucks of old now. Todd Bowles mentioned that they're on that Super Bowl slumber still after more than a year, which is really interesting. And I think that's a big coaching issue there. I think he needs to get ahead of that. I don't know.
I think it just kind of showed that maybe he wasn't the guy that should have taken the head coaching position.
Yeah, and it really makes me wonder if Tom Brady had something to do about that. You know, there was a lot of reports.
So we won't get a deep dive into the whole situation, but my understanding has always been Brady wasn't expecting to come back. He was expecting to be a partial owner player for Miami.
Yep.
And then him not being able to go to Miami and coming back, he kind of had some stipulations that, you know, well, I need this, or this is what I want, or I feel this. So, you know, it just is kind of sucks because maybe some of those things that he had a hand in really kind of affected the team in a negative way versus making it more, you know, streamlined in the offense and things like that.
Yeah, you know, it's really interesting because it shows what Bruce Arians actually was bringing to the team, if this is what was going on. And having BA been with the Steelers in the past, fire Matt Canada and hire Bruce Arians. Please give him all he wants. Let him run the offense. Because Bruce Arians is phenomenal. Has worked with a lot of really good quarterbacks in his past.
Yeah.
Let him help mold Kenny Pickett. I think that would be a great fit. But
if he was willing to take an offensive coordinator position,
yeah,
or even if you could just get him in there as, you know,
as
just coming in to help
counsel,
right?
Counsel,
yeah.
Yep.
Anything. I mean, it's not like you're bringing him to a team that he doesn't have some sort of history with.
Yep.
Like, this would be a very easy sell. I could just see him going, you know, I really like the weather down here in Florida. And
yeah.
It's a little late in the year to head up there. Maybe I'll check him in the summer and we'll see what we can get working on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this summer for Kenny Pickett, he goes and works with Peyton Manning. So, you know, that's not a bad person to work with either. But all right.
Peyton's great, but they're definitely not the same style of quarterback.
Yeah. All right, so up first, we have the Broncos against the Jaguars, our last London game of the year. Do we have a game in Germany this year still?
We have a Buccaneers game in Germany.
Okay. So
I'm not sure what week that is, but
yeah. You got it back there?
yeah, it's not on the board yet. Board
Gotcha.
hasn't been rewritten for November.
Gotcha. So we have Broncos versus Jags. So Jags have a lot of experience going to London. And the Jags have looked really, really well. The biggest concerning thing for me is they also haven't looked very well, which is very interesting. The past few years, Jags have absolutely sucked. They've been garbage, one of the worst teams in the league. And they're going up against one of the, if not the best defense in the Broncos. Broncos have been keeping everybody super low scoring. I don't know really where I want to go with this. I see both of your picks here, and I see where you both are coming from with this. The big thing that we talked about is Russell Wilson doing high knees down the aisle of the plane while they're flying over to London.
Pissing everybody off.
Pissing everyone off.
It's not even the fact that he did that. Like, hey, you're injured. You don't want your leg to tighten up. I understand. Like, things happen, whatever. But why are we going and then telling the reporters that's what you're doing on the plane and making a show of it, and making a big to-do, and just being the damn cartoon character that you are? Why is that a thing?
That's exactly it. Like, while he has owned his issues, he also has not. He's had multiple questions about why the Broncos aren't performing the way they should have been performing. Everybody thought they were a Super Bowl caliber team coming into the league, coming into this season.
One quarterback away.
One quarterback away was what everybody said.
We're dialed in.
Russell Wilson's won a Super Bowl. He's been to 2. Seems like a perfect fit. Wrong.
Yep.
Wrong. I think Russell Wilson is losing the team, to be perfectly honest. All his questioning that has come his way, all of his answers have all been about Russell Wilson. It's not about what the team is doing. It's about what he's doing, and that he is still going to be great. He's going to be fine. He's going to get it figured out. No, you need to reassure your guys, hey, I have fucked up. He has played horrible.
He has to re-ingratiate himself with his teammates, because what he's kind of doing is putting up a wall.
Yep.
And they're never really kind of becoming, a team.
Yeah.
It's a team. And then you got Russell Wilson, and then you got Hackett. And Hackett really hasn't ingratiated himself either. And that's kind of why I went with the Broncos here, is because the chatter is, oh, well, if they lose to the Jaguars in London, Hackett might be fired already.
I was just about to cover that as well.
I just think that there might be that, that our backs are against the wall, everybody's against us mentality. And I think that Russell just kind of pulls a rabbit out of his hat, and they sneak out of here with the close win. I don't think it's going to be pretty.
Yep.
I don't think we're going to see the high fluttering deep ball, or we're seeing 60-yard touchdowns from Russ or anything like that. But
yeah,
the way that, like you said, the defense keeps low scores.
Yep.
And we've seen the Jaguars start really well and kind of hit a few weeks of kind of loss of identity from those first couple weeks that they had showed us, that if the Broncos were to try to get a back on track game in a different country against a team that's kind of up and down, I think this is the formula to get it started.
Yep. So what I was about to just cover that you just touched on, according to ESPN's Dan Graziano, there are reports in league circles that Broncos head coach Nathaniel Hackett could be fired if Denver doesn't win its Week 8 game in London. So with the Broncos being a 2-5 team, they easily could have been a 5-2. But I mean, Hackett has mentioned, that there's been significant issues there. He's not a head coach, and that's
correct,
okay.
And that's what I was going to say. He looks like an offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like a head coach. You can be an amazing offensive coordinator and just not have the head coach. You might be too much of a player guy. You might, bond too much with the offense and not with the defense or things like that.
Yep.
And it's nothing against your X's and O's. It's just, hey, That's not the position. You're Michael Scott. You sold paper. You were great at selling paper, and now you're a manager, and you are the worst manager
Yeah.
available.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
And what's interesting is the amount of money they just spent on Russell Wilson. One of two people are going to be gone first, and it's not Russell Wilson. It's going to be
Russell
Nathaniel
ain't
Hackett. Russell, they
Yep.
$240 million. He's not going nowhere. So here's my scenario that I would like to see. I mentioned I've already catered to Bruce Arians coming to Pittsburgh, but like you mentioned, it's cold, right? Bruce Arians has been in Florida for a while now. You know, his blood's thinned out. How about this?
Oh no.
Broncos, lose your game, please. Fire Nathaniel Hackett. I swear to God, if the Steelers pass up an opportunity to get Nathaniel Hackett as an offensive coordinator, I will lose my fucking mind. Lose my mind.
You better put that thing on a leash then, because I don't see Hackett in
So-
Pittsburgh anytime soon.
I don't see. Here's the thing. So my biggest scenario that I see if Hackett's fired, there's 3 places I could see him going. I could see him going to Pittsburgh, where they have multiple weapons that are very promising, an offensive line that has been improving every week. They have a brand new rookie quarterback that looks like he can do well with a really good offensive coordinator. Or New England has an opening still for an offensive coordinator. They've got an interesting QB controversy over there with Zapp and Jones. And the chance to learn under Bill Belichick. If Nathaniel Hackett wants to get another head coaching opportunity in the future, why not learn under Bill Belichick? Or the third option is to go back to Green Bay. Ever since Nathaniel Hackett has left Green Bay has not looked the same. So those are my 3 scenarios there.
I would think Green Bay is the most likely.
Yep.
But I still don't even really see that this year. I just kind of see that he's taken such a hit. He's just going to take the remainder of the season off and jump back on with the team. You know, maybe he's really in talks when the playoff teams are rolling.
Yep.
And he's talking to a team that's either not in the playoffs or already been eliminated. But it's just really hard for him to come in and try to revamp an offense mid-season. I could see him coming in and lending a hand.
Yeah.
But if, let's say, the 2 things that happen are the Steelers end up losing and you guys have an opening, and the Broncos end up losing and Hackett's available, I just can't see him coming in and giving a whole new offense within a couple weeks. Like, he's going to try to fit in.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't think they would really try and do a whole new offense. I think, obviously, there needs to be changes. I would like to see shades of new, though, and to get rid of the college style offense, like transition them out. I would be fine with the Steelers having a terrible offense the rest of the season, as long as Matt Canada is gone and we brought in a proper offensive coordinator.
Right. And there's hope. There's hope of
exactly.
Yes.
Give them the rest of the season. Start figuring it out. You'll have an off season. Work with your guys, come back, training camp, get it all figured out, ironed out, get another wide receiver in the draft, because let's be honest, Steelers always hit on wide receivers really, really well, and it looks like Chase Claypool might be gone. So they need to do something. But let's get back on to...
I haven't gotten an update yet, but I'm waiting.
Oh, I've been watching as well. Especially because I was so wrong about the Christian McCaffrey scenario. I thought they would want 2 first-round draft picks like they had mentioned, and then it was like a 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th.
So since we've been live here, I got to update that Tannehill's definitely out. He's been changed from questionable to out, so we will see Malik Willis. And
interesting.
That is the only major thing that I got here, but it would be great, kind of circling back to having Hackett, your dream scenario, getting the Steelers, is kind of what you're saying is, I would like him to just learn the players, to kind of have, conversations with the players for the rest of the year.
Yep.
Really learn how they do things, even if it's not in his offense, just so he knows what they're really good at and kind of what he needs to steer certain players away from in the offense. That would be great.
Mm-hmm.
as long as the expectation isn't that all of a sudden we have a new playbook and we have new calls. And I just think that it's a lot easier for him to learn what's there, even if he's going to become a play caller by week 10 or week 12 or what it is. More so than having, half of the team, the entire offense learning new calls, new blocking assignments, mainly it's you're up at the line of scrimmage. What kind of calls are going to be called here, not necessarily what's called back in the huddle.
Yep.
So we'll see. I'm hoping that he's there for another week or two. I think that the Jaguars are one of the teams that are beatable for them. So we'll see how it goes.
Yep. But all right, so getting back on topic, we like to go off on tangents every now and again, which is okay.
Oh, yeah.
So Broncos versus Jags. After discussing everything, I'm gonna go with the Jags personally, just because I want Nathaniel Hackett to be fired, Steelers to get him. But I also think the Jaguars are gonna be able to do something. The Broncos offense has been really lackluster. Russell Wilson's pissing everyone off. But the Broncos defense is really, really good. So we'll see if Trevor Lawrence is able to get it done over in London. It's not his first rodeo over there either, which is very promising. Whereas I don't think Russell Wilson's ever really gone to London. Being that West Coast team, he just never really has had to travel out there in the past.
I didn't think about that. That's true. There's not a lot of these West Coast, all the teams right on the water that make it that far.
Yeah, and it's what, a 7-hour difference for him compared to a 5-hour difference, because they're 2 hours behind Jacksonville, and Jacksonville's 5 hours behind Britain.
I'm not sure if it's available, and they got one of those new planes that hits that in 4 hours.
The Conrad.
It is. And I would just expect that the NFL has 2 of those, and each team, whoever's on a London trip, they send it over, and that's what they get to use. If that's not what they're doing, and they're going to start putting teams in London, that should be what they acquire. But I mean, the cartoon character's stretching. That's what I'm going with. He's being ridiculous.
Yep.
I'm going with ridiculous.
Yep. So I see Cap has decided to go with the Jags. And what was your pick?
I'm going Broncos.
Okay. It's interesting because you keep talking about Russell Wilson being a cartoon character stretching on the plane, and it seems like everything you're saying is going for the Jags.
Is awful. I totally understand.
Yeah.
But you know what? The expectation that he was going to be really good, and he's been shit.
Yeah.
Now the expectation is he's going to be shit. So I'm hoping really good.
Yeah. Okay. Up next, Dolphins versus Lions. This seems like a really interesting one for me. MCDC, everybody loves out in Detroit. He's a fantastic head coach, players coach. The players rally around him. They have one of the best offenses in the league, which is funny because we've been talking about the Broncos, how they have one of the best defenses but a terrible offense, and this is like a flip-flop scenario here. They're going against a high-powered Tua offense. Seeing what Tua was able to do against the Steelers, I was really happy, by the way, seeing the Steelers flip at halftime, how their defense really changed and was able to make those adjustments. So makes me happy. Good on them. Sorry, I'm a Steelers fan. I keep going back to the Steelers. It's just going to happen. But I don't think MCDC is going to be able to get his Lions to compete with this Dolphins team. Their defense was really well last week, which is does it say something? I mean, there was a lot of backups. There was a lot of injuries on the defense. Okay, here's my opinion. Choose the over on this game, because the Dolphins are going up against a terrible Lions defense. The Lions offense is going to go up against a banged up Dolphins defense. I would say choose the over. But I'm going to go with the Dolphins on this, and so does Cap.
I'm going Dolphins. Tyreek Hill's a monster.
Yep. Cheetah.
Waddle's a monster. Mostert's available. So like we're saying, we expect a lot of points, and those guys are blazing fast. Any touch could go for 6. So, even if it's a close game, I just expect that one of those players is kind of able to elevate themselves for the final 5-6 minutes of the game and really make the difference.
Yep. All right, up next here on my list is the Cardinals versus the Vikings. Like I've already mentioned, bet your house on the Vikings. So here's another interesting person that is going to be out for the Arizona Cardinals. James Conner, one of their biggest production horses on the team, is out this week. God, it's looking really, really rough for the for the Cardinals right now. It's in Minnesota. Minnesota is definitely very, very chilly right now. I think they just had snow, actually. They had a good bit of snow come in.
We're in a dome. It's fine.
Yeah, but still, trying to adjust to that for everything else.
From the desert folk coming into
exactly. Their penis is gonna be inside their body. They're not men anymore. They are full on females. I'm going with the Vikings on this one. It's in Minnesota. I'm surprised the line isn't more. The Vikings are only getting 3.5 points here. I would hit that hard, and I would hit the money line on the Vikings. Yeah, but Cousins, you guys hate Cousins like I hate Matt Canada.
He doesn't vary people. So it's hard to expect that we're going to win by a great point margin, even if the team's better, because we'll get up by 14, maybe even 17, and then he just kind of slows down in the fourth quarter. He'll check down excessively or throw the ball away, just kind of playing it safe. So teams really do get to make a comeback, even if they're not ready to win. They close that point gap down a lot.
Gotcha. Yeah, like I said, I'm still going with Vikings. I think, Vikings. All three of us actually went with Vikings on this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Vikings as well. If we weren't doing picks, I would never pick the Vikings for anything. I'd skip this game. I never like to pick the teams I root for.
Yeah, same. Bears versus Cowboys. Very interesting game here. Cowboys are getting 9.5, or they are 9.5 point favorites in this game. I wouldn't touch that. I think their defense is fantastic. I think the Chicago Bears suck. However, the Bears did just surprise us. I'm gonna go with the Cowboys myself on this.
Same here. And Cowboys are definitely gonna put in work. I think that Dak got the rust off his shoulders, and then they were able to start really clicking late in the game last week. So that will roll over here. And while the Bears look good, they were looking good against a team that the fandom was cheering for the third string quarterback to come back in. And, it was a big mess, and it was an easy way for the Bears to kind of get in there and play well.
Yep. I think that's all we really need to say there. Cowboys, all three of us. No surprise that Cap chose his boys. Up next, Raiders versus Saints. This is a very interesting one. The Raiders are only 1.5 point favorites here. Why is it that such a as close as what they're making it out to be? Do the Raiders have some injuries going on right now? That I haven't heard about?
What do we got here? I remember that Jacobs was questionable, but he looks like he's going to be playing. That looked like it was more maintenance. The Saints get 3 points off the jump because they're at home. So if you took that away, it's 4.5 points, just kind of to start before you factor in the home away situation.
This is true.
And the Raiders, even though everyone thought they're going to be good, what are they, 2-4, something like that now?
I believe it's 2-5, but I still think they're one of the better teams in the league, and they're 2-4, so it's a 2-4 team at a 2-5 team. And
then I think that they saw the Saints score, as many points for the Cardinals as the Cardinals did last week. So they're a little worried that Andy Dalton's pulling his best Jameis Winston, giving games away.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to go with the Raiders on this. I think the Raiders are going to try and capitalize on a good streak here coming. They're up against the Saints, followed by the Jaguars, the Colts, the Broncos, and the Seahawks, and the Chargers. I think they could easily win most of those games, if not all of them. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Raiders.
Yeah, I went Raiders as well.
And interestingly enough, Kaplan
with
Saints.
The run game they got going.
Yeah.
Their run game looks amazing. So that really heals a lot of other issues. I'm not sure if Waller's going to be playing this week or not, but when Waller's not in, Renfro can kind of get a little bit more work that he hasn't seen. And I mean, Devontae's Devontae, so.
Yeah. All right. Up next, we have the Steagles. You guys don't know what the Steagles are. It's the during World War II, the Steelers and Eagles combined their NFL teams. Funny enough. Man, being a Steelers fan, I'm gonna go with my boys. I've got to. They.
So I've got some questions then, real quick. So me and Cap, we're both going Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
You're going Steelers.
Yep.
Now we understand why you're going Steelers.
Yep.
You're a fan. But the narrative that you want done is an L here.
I know.
Are you just trying to reverse psychology this situation?
I was gonna go with the Eagles because I wanted the Steelers to come away with a dub. And the last couple times I've done the opposite. Like I went with the Bengals and I went with the Bucks and they won both of those games. So
that's why.
Man, it's going to be hard. Chris Boswell is a super important piece in the Steelers team. And it's funny that a kicker is so important. But he's been a majority of the points this year for the Steelers.
You've got 45 minutes for a TJ Watt announcement. Let's see if that's come yet.
I haven't seen anything. I've been watching.
No.
So TJ Watt is saying he's going to play, but he's going to have a count of, a pitch count, how much he's going to be utilized. Personally, I would much rather them sit TJ Watt for most of the year, let him fully heal. I know he's itching to get back out there, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's going to come back and he's going to work through it. And I think that's going to be tomorrow. Man,
dialed in with the Steelers pick.
God, yeah.
We'll see how that works for you.
Yep. So, like you mentioned, you and Cap are both with the Eagles. It's going to be an interesting one. The Steelers are 10.5-point underdogs, which is only the second time they've ever been a double-digit underdog, and the first time was against the Bills, and they lost by 35 points. So. One of the only other reasons I'm saying the Steelers is they played really well against the Dolphins, and the Eagles, while they are looking like one of the best teams in the NFC, they've been looking a little lackluster as the season goes on. Jalen Hurts is a dog, but we'll see. Up next is the Patriots versus the Jets. They are in Jersey. Jets are 2.5-point underdogs, which is very surprising to me, especially because they're at home. So if it was in New England, it would be a 5.5-point underdog.
Yeah, which is.
Do the Jets have any big injuries right now? I didn't see anything.
Well, they lost Breece Hall for the year.
Besides him,
and then replaced him.
Which pissed me off because I've got Carter.
He's still going to get work, but he's not going to be the guy. Like you would instantly think, oh, well, this guy's now going to have a 60, 70, 80% workload. And that just got cut right back down to 50 or less again instantly. But I'm not sure what the exact number is. I'm sure the Patriots fans know and they counted on there, but I think they've got, I want to say 13 straight wins versus the Jets. So I'm assuming that has something to do with it. I'm going for the streak ender. I'm gonna take the Jets and fly, and let's see how that goes. I'm a firm believer of the good old, if you got two quarterbacks, you don't got one. So I think this is kind of the perfect formula for the Jets to get the monkey off their back and get a win here.
Yep. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Jets. The Jets have looked really. Oh, man, this is hard because I was thinking I was gonna go with the Patriots. But yeah, I'm gonna stick with the Jets. I feel this is a very difficult.
I'm struggling. Oh.
It's hard, man, because I don't want to go against Bill Belichick. But I also don't want to go against the Jets right now. The Jets are looking very good right now.
I'm over here. I'm just trying to get a little view of the receipts they're taking. It seems like a good time. I'm gonna ride that. It's just
yeah. Let's ride with the Jets, man, all the way. All three of us go. Jets, Jets. You know.
I'll be. Hey, you guys see me in Niners stuff today? I'm gonna be running around in green tomorrow. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. You're not going to be wearing purple and gold?
Maybe I'll wear the throwback Alabama Joe Namath jersey tomorrow. Really give it to him.
Oh, man. I'm surprised you're wearing 49ers stuff, by the way. I know you're just trying to egg it on a little bit.
I had some, I told you, I live in the Bay Area. So a lot of the people I know, my family, everybody's Niner fans. That's why I have the gear. And they were not happy bringing out the good old conversation that we had discussed. So we won't talk about it. We're just trying to make some amends here, fellas. Calm down. Okay? Got red all over the place.
All right, up next we have the Titans versus the Texans. As we have covered, Malik Willis is going to be the starting quarterback for the Titans this week. I'm gonna go with the Titans. I'm gonna be a little interesting this week. So I don't think Ryan Tannehill is as important of a quarterback as people are saying he is in that scheme. I think King Henry is much more important. With Malik Willis being able to run around the way he does, I think it's going to be able to open up some opportunities and some plays with King Henry. I'm going Titans.
I had written down Texans. Caps got Texans, and both of those came in before Tannehill was out.
Yep.
And I do kind of feel the way you do that. You know, this might mean Henry gets a little bit more work this week than normal, and they just start beating the Texans down.
Yep.
But I'll stick with the pick.
Okay. You sure you don't want to change it? You can change it.
If I had a coin in hand's reach, we would be flipping a coin for the winner. But I'll stick here. We'll stay with the Texans.
I was looking for a coin for you.
I would have appreciated it. I had to flip it.
All right. Yeah, I like the Titans here. I would definitely choose the over on the rushing for Henry and Malik Willis. And I would probably, for a parlay, I would probably choose King Henry to get 2+ touchdowns. Yeah. I would say maybe Malik Willis an anytime touchdown. Depends on what the betting line is there.
He's going to run a lot. I'm not saying that he's going to run for 100 yards and be something ridiculous in his rookie debut, but
let's look.
No problem pulling the ball down and taking off. And those are kind of the yards that stack up quick at quarterback, because you get out there and you got 8-10 yards ahead of you before a cornerback can really close the distance.
Yeah. Let's see. Player rushing yards. They don't actually show here. So Derrick Henry, his over-under is 102.5. And I think that's a really good line they have there. Funny enough, they don't even have Malik Willis on the player passing yards. They only have Davis Mills, and his over-under is 235.5. I'd hammer the under on that, personally.
I wonder if they will get that changed. if they'll get him in there before the games kick off tomorrow.
Yep. By the way, as of right now, it is the fourth quarter, 5 minutes remaining in the Ohio State-Penn State game. Ohio State is leading 30-24, and they do have the ball. Ah, man. It's rough. It's rough. I've been watching that game. But okay. Giants versus Seahawks. Oh. I see some people are deciding to ride the Geno Smith train. I myself am a big Geno Smith fan right now.
Do we have the conductor?
Do we? I am going to go with the Giants. Brian Daboll is my current head coach of the year award winner. I think what he's done in New York is absolutely fantastic. Showing up in a big lifted blue F-150, suit, tie, briefcase, ready to go to work, and he has gone to fucking work. The Giants with Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley probably look like one of the best Giants teams in quite some time. I'm super impressed.
Since Odell's left.
Even since before that, in my opinion, in some circumstances. I think they're just extremely fantastic. Yeah, I'm going Giants. And they're hot right now, man. It's like the Jets.
So this was a game that I was torn. Cap went Seahawks, and I ended up going Seahawks as well because the Giants won. They beat Jaguars last week by 1 yard. By 1 yard.
Who was that? The Jaguars?
The Jaguars. Yep.
Yeah, that makes me want to hammer the Giants down even more. I don't see the Jaguars on the level of the Giants at all.
Well, they only beat them by 1 yard.
I know.
They had Lawrence marching down the field in the fourth quarter, throws the ball, gets caught at the 3, forward motion, gets stopped as he's flying through the air on the half-yard line and pushed back to the 3 again. So, who is it? DK Metcalf is out for the Seahawks, so that is kind of a little rough, but I could see it kind of opening up the game a little bit more with Lockett, a little bit different receiver, getting a little bit more love, and he's blazing fast and kind of all over the place. It's hard to keep an eye on him when he's kind of out there doing his own thing. So I'm just going to lean that way and just, this is me and Cap had kind of called it to see who's for real. Both of these teams have come out and gotten a lot more wins than we would have expected to this point. And now we're going to see which one's the real deal and which one's kind of, it's almost midnight and they got to get out of there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm super surprised by both of you choosing the Seahawks, especially with that DK Metcalf information coming out. Up next, we have the Commanders versus the Colts. Carl Wentz coming back to Indianapolis. It's going to be super interesting. I was trying to get a little bit of information. Jim Irsay tweeted that the roof is going to be closed in Indianapolis. And I was trying to see what Carson Wentz's win-loss record was with the roof open versus closed, because I was wondering if that had something to do with it. Man. You know what? I'm gonna go with the Colts. I'm gonna go a little different than you guys. I think one of the big issues there was Matt Ryan, and now that they have Sam Ehlinger starting, I think maybe they're gonna have a little bit of like a resurgence. I don't see the Commanders winning this game. Carson Wentz is Carson Wentz. God, I don't know if the Colts defense, who's in and who's out. Yeah.
Okay, so
Colts.
Will it make a difference if I read this injury report here to you? This is from October 22nd.
Okay. About a week ago.
Place Carson Wentz finger on injured reserve.
Oh, that's right.
So we got
Carson Wentz is out for 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah,
I completely forgot
we don't
about
have
that.
to ride the Carl train. So that's why I took the Commanders last week. And
God,
then
and they looked really good against the Packers. I'm completely
yeah,
forgetting. It's because I was sick.
it yeah, you were out. You were passed out asleep during the whole game, and
I
you didn't get to
was.
watch
I was.
the game. So that's why I wanted to make sure to get this in here and just let you know, hey, Carl, Bill Carson, he's a fan this week.
No, I'm still going
He's
Colts.
not playing.
Still going Colts.
Okay. All right.
I made my pick.
I'm going with the commies.
I see that. You and Cat both. All right. Up
Yeah.
next, big game. 49ers versus the Rams. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. Deebo Samuel's going to be out for the Niners, like we covered earlier. Christian McCaffrey is expected to get a heavier workload. Rams don't. I mean, the Rams look like a normal Super Bowl contender after, or Super Bowl winner after the Super Bowl. They look like dog shit this year. It's been very, very rough for the Rams. Both teams in Los Angeles actually have looked really, really rough. You know,
Well,
I really like Jimmy G. I do. But at the same time, I fucking hate Jimmy G.
Oh, see, now, okay, now I'm understanding.
Yeah, Jimmy G sometimes is enjoyable to watch, especially with the whole situation that happened this year. You know, starting the year knowing, or ending last season knowing he's getting traded, said his goodbyes to everybody, and then Trey Lance pretty much dying, and Jimmy G having to come back and be the starter. You know, the past few weeks have been very rough for Jimmy G. Who do I want to go with, though? So who's your pick?
I am sorry, guys. Despite what I am wearing, I'm gonna have to go with the Rams. And I think everyone that knows why I'm wearing this Niners gear also knows my opinion on Jimmy G. It's almost as bad as my opinion on Kirk Cousins. And I would rather be wrong about a win and a loss than than take Jimmy G. I just can't do it.
Gotcha.
While the Rams offense hasn't looked great, and even their defense hasn't looked as studly as it is, my big thing with Jimmy G is when a defense has the ability to slow down the play action pass,
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy G kind of is flustered and almost, I don't want to be harsh, but rendered useless. and the Rams have the type of defense where, the first half could be very similar to last week, where it's going to be a close game going into halftime, and then the second half comes out and there's some adjustments, and it really slows the effectiveness of that play action pass, and it's kind of, hey, we're going to make Jimmy beat us. And if he's not dumping the ball off in the flats and McCaffrey's making big plays this week, it's going to be really hard to do something outside of that play action. So, the Niners fans will tell you he's got, I think the best or the top 3 rating and against blitzing and against this. And, when he's with Shanahan and him win, at an alarming rate compared to everybody else. And all of that, but then you watch the game and you watch Jimmy play, and it's just, you quickly understand why they did give up so much to go get Trey Lance, and they were ready to move on. So he is, an above average quarterback, but once you put him up against a good team, it doesn't look like such.
Yeah. So very interesting here. We have a game from a couple of weeks ago that we can look at. Funny enough, in the same month, October 3rd, Niners and Rams faced off before, which was week 5 or week 4, or where was it? No, why does it say?
So let me see here. Week 4.
It says it should be. Oh, yep, there it is. Rams versus 49ers. So
Monday night.
So
San Francisco Massacre.
Yep.
They just mollywopped the Rams.
Yep. So it was a 24-9 victory for the Niners. Myself and Cap both chose the Rams.
He can't do it again.
I can't do it again. I really can't. And that's probably why Cap went with the 49ers. So the 49ers are 1-point favorites in this game. So since it is at Los Angeles, they'd be 4-point favorites. It's not like they're traveling far. And every game in Los Angeles is an away game currently for the Rams.
Yep.
In fact, here's some interesting news. They're planning on they're preparing for a silent count this week, which they've been saying every week now. So Jimmy G went 16 of 27 for 239 yards and a touchdown. Jeffrey Wilson had 18 carries for 74 yards and a touchdown. Deebo Samuel caught their one touchdown. And the Rams just weren't really able to get it done. Stafford threw for 32 of 48 attempts, 254 yards, and an interception. I think if the Niners defense is able to come out like they did last time they faced with an interception and a fumble recovery, then the Niners will have no problem, especially adding Christian McCaffrey to that rushing. And if they try and push him out and almost do like a Deebo Samuel kind of thing, where it's a wide receiver running back combo that that Deebo does, I think the Niners are take this no problem. So I'm going Niners.
Yeah, no, I can't. I can't do it right now.
It's okay. It's okay.
Sorry.
Cap also went with the Niners, by the way.
Yeah, he did.
Up next, Sunday Night Football. Man, this should not be on Sunday night, but it is. The Packers are going into Buffalo to face the Buffalo fucking Bills. So, here's some interesting stats real quick. Aaron Rodgers' winning streak in prime time is the longest by any quarterback since 1970. He has 13-0 with 36 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. That's in the last 13 games in prime time. However, he is 0-1 in Orchard Park, and the Packers as a team are 0-6 there. Which is going to end first? Will the 13-0 streak end first, or will the 0-6 streak end first?
Well, this is the week that streaks end. I think that Tom Brady's 20-year span of not losing 3 games in a row ended this week on Thursday night.
He's only lost one more than 3 once, and that was a 4 losses straight. By the way, I looked that up as well because I was very curious.
Yeah, they were sending out some ridiculous stat that he's, and he's amazing, and I agree, but I can't imagine what type of game we'd be watching if the Packers pulled this out. All of a sudden their defense would be the defense that was expected, that we haven't seen all year. All of a sudden their young receiving corps is catching balls they've been dropping all year. Like, it would have to be a night and day difference between the Packers of the first 7 weeks of the year and then this week. So, I mean, it's got to be Bills all the way is the expectation.
Yep. Yeah.
And it almost looks like they're getting primed up for a Bills shellacking like what they did to the Steelers. So
I was just about to say that as well. So the Bills are 10.5-point favorites. I'm going to be going with the Bills because I can't go with anybody else. I think the Bills are still the best team in the league, and that will not change. The only team that can contend with them is the Chiefs. I still think the Bills shouldn't have lost the game against the Dolphins. I almost feel like they got that I feel like they got the snap off on time, but they didn't. And to kick the game-winning field goal, they were really injured. They're not now. They're very, very healthy again. Coming off of a bye week. Another interesting fact: Sean McDermott is 5-0 off the bye week. They're rested. They're hungry. They know what is ahead of them. Bills all the way.
Definitely.
Cap also went with the Bills. And then our final game of the week, Monday night. We had covered this briefly with David Njoku going to be injured and out. Jamar Chase going to be out. Bengals versus Browns. This is going to be an interesting one. I hate choosing AFC North matchups because the AFC North they're crazy. The like I had mentioned earlier, all four teams hate each other. There's a respect there, but they hate each other. They unlock like an extra level each time they face each other.
It's going to be a really gritty game. Absolutely.
Yep. And funny enough, the Browns currently are 3.5-point underdogs, and it's at home for the Browns. With Jamar Chase being out, obviously Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins are going to get a lot more action. I believe both are playing. I'm going Bengals. I just feel like the Bengals are a much better team.
I think you might have to take a look at our DraftKings thing and get Tyler Boyd back in the starting lineup if nobody picked him, because hey, when either Higgins or Chase is out, Tyler Boyd gets a chance to shine, and man, does he.
Yeah, he really, really does. Joey Burrow, Joe Cool, he's got a grill now, apparently. Somebody had mentioned.
Fantastic.
Love it.
Fantastic.
Being a Steelers fan, I hate the Bengals. I've always hated the Bengals, but I really like watching Joe Burrow. I've seen interviews of him. He seems like a really interesting guy. I like the fact that he's really embracing this AFC North football, and God, it's
really, really hard to pick against the Joe Burrow swag.
Yeah, it really is.
And it makes it a lot easier for you that it's against another AFC opponent. So it's a team you already hate in the Browns. So just to get that little tiebreaker to be able to go with Joe Cool is a nice change of pace.
Yep. So, and also if the Bengals beat the Browns will stay in last place. With the Steelers. They're both 2-5. Browns have an edge up on the Steelers by half a game because they beat them. But I would much rather see the Browns lose. It's just better for the Steelers. I don't want the Steelers to finish in last.
I could understand that, definitely. But there is a game that I think we might have missed on.
Which one?
And I think we missed the big shootout for the first place ranking of the NFC South. I'm not sure we covered Panthers Falcons. I think that is
I did miss that one.
Wild card game of the week, really. And as wild as it sounds, if the Carolina Panthers win this week, they take over possession of first in the NFC South.
Yeah, I did miss that as well. Interestingly enough, whoops. I can't copy and paste on my spreadsheet. Thank you for bringing that up. Falcons all the way.
All right.
Yeah, Panthers suck.
That's what I got. That's what Caps got. We're all thinking that the Falcons have looked great compared to what we thought they were going to be, and the way that they're running the ball and smashing the ball down people's throat, that is a great formula for winning. So that's the formula I'm going to take this week.
You said it was Panthers at Falcons?
Yep.
So we're all going with Falcons?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Falcons. I can't believe I missed that. I don't know how I missed it. Oh, well. I'm a big fan of the Falcons, man. They look really, 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 really good, which is surprising. Marcus Mariota showed that he can still be a quarterback in this league, and which is interesting because he was a USC guy, right? I believe.
Oregon.
Oh, Oregon. Yeah, that's right.
You don't get quarterbacks out of USC.
Yeah,
That's a bad move.
That's why I was like, but yeah, no, Oregon makes sense. I've liked Marcus Mariota. I actually sort of petitioned for him to go to the Steelers over Mitch Trubisky. But I mean, he's doing wonders down in Georgia. Good for him, man. But
yeah, he fits in well there. It's kind of similar to Geno Smith in Seattle. You know that a lot of people had these guys left for dead, and they're just going to be forever backups. And both of them got an opportunity, and they're really living up to it and making good things happen.
Yep, and the funny enough, the Falcons and Panthers play each other again here shortly on a Thursday night football on November 10th, which is actually going to be my son's birthday.
There you go.
But it's I think Falcons are definitely looking to get this dub because they know it's going to be an easier dub against the Panthers. Panthers are in a rebuilding mode, definitely. And then going to be able to grab another win here in 2 weeks. Or a week and a half, I guess you could really say. 11 days out. Falcons are going to grab 2 dubs easy. Who do they play next week? I think, funny enough, I think the Panthers have a bye and then they play the Falcons again. Whereas the Falcons play the Chargers and then the Panthers.
Next week the Panthers head into Cincinnati to play Joe Cool.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's going to be a rough.
And the Falcons, that was Carolina actually. And the Falcons, where were they at here?
Yeah, Falcons go Panthers, Chargers, Panthers, Bears.
Okay.
So, yeah, they're at home the next 3 out of the 4 weeks. That's a good 4-game stretch that they can win all 4 games really easily. And to be honest, I'd probably choose them for the next 4 games. Even maybe the next 5.
I don't know. I mean, it's going to be hard for me to take Atlanta over the Chargers after a Chargers bye week. And if Keenan Allen's in. But if, you never know with Keenan Allen at this point.
But here's the thing.
He's supposed to have been in for the last couple weeks.
Here's the thing, though. Who do you think is currently the better team, the Seahawks or the Falcons?
I mean, fully healthy or today?
Today.
I'm still going to go Seahawks.
Okay. Well, the Seahawks destroyed the Chargers 37-23. It was a 2-touchdown game. Mm-hmm. And I think it'll be around that as well. I could see the Falcons doing that to the Chargers.
The Chargers are going to Chargers, man. It's really sad, but
yeah, it's really unfortunate, but hey, I don't mind it.
Right? If you're not a fan of the team and you're just watching, it doesn't hurt as bad.
Are you a Chargers fan as well?
I like them.
Okay.
I wouldn't say I'm a fan per se, but I playing fantasy for so long, you kind of start rooting for teams because of players that you like. So, I've always kind of liked the Chargers. I'd say one of the biggest regrets that I had was not getting to a Chargers game when they were in the soccer stadium for a couple seasons.
That would have been cool.
That would have been a nice small 15,000 person stadium and get to see an NFL game. But whenever I cheer for them, they just tear your heart out.
Yeah.
So it's really hard.
Yeah.
I have definitely lost the most money on Chargers bets.
Okay.
100%. One year, it was way back when Tomlinson was playing. I built up all year. I was winning my bets. And then they had, I want to say it was an AFC title game.
Okay.
It was a sure thing. They were dominated. I put everything on it that I had won all year, and there went my whole year.
Yeah.
Down the drain.
That's rough. But all right, well, that was just about almost an hour and a half, to be honest. And I feel like it was a really good episode to dial in. A little week 8 preview. Pretty excited for this week. There's gonna be could be a good one. I actually really like these games that are slated. What do you think is going to be your game of the week?
I know that you don't think it because you said bet the house, but the game I'm going to be on the edge of my seat for is going to be Vikings Cardinals. I am scared a little bit of the Hopkins effect. I think that's a real thing, and the Vikings coming off of a bye either says great things are going to happen or you're going to be a little lackluster. So
Gotcha.
I'm really hoping we just bury them and throw 35-38 maybe to 17-21 would be the hope, but the defense in Arizona kicked off pretty well last week and they got a little bit of their mojo back, so that's going to be a good one. And then that repeat, you guys have the Niners and I got the Rams. I could see that being a real not a barn burner. I don't see a lot of points, but I see a lot of good defense being played there. So for some, that might be the game that you want to watch.
Gotcha. I'm gonna change a pick real quick.
Uh-oh.
Yep. So I got some breaking news. Steelers offensive linebacker TJ Watt, who was designated to return from IR last week, opening a 21-day window for him, was not activated today and is not eligible to play Sunday versus the Eagles. I'm going with Eagles now.
Okay.
Watt was the big thing for me.
He's picking the Eagles.
Yep. So that means
so
bet
the Steelers have a great chance.
bet the house on the Steelers.
Exactly.
I've only done that 2 other times, I believe, this year, and the Steelers won both of those. Go figure. So, no, yeah, Watt was my big catalyst, and him being out now officially, that's unfortunate. I wanted to check that. My game of the week though, is going to be the Giants and Seahawks. I think that is going to be a very good game. Daboll, like I've been saying, he's my coach of the year pick. It was Mike McDaniels, then Tua had those issues, and I just can't give it to McDaniels now. But
and it's not even that Tua had issues. That happens.
Yeah.
But what it was the way it was handled.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
It almost seemed like he was letting the media reports sway him to make certain decisions instead of him standing firm and doing what he wanted. And that kind of, to me, I think he's a great X's and O's guy. I think, very highly of him. I just think that he took a big hit in media relations and that kind of limited his coach of the year possibility.
Yeah. And it's really unfortunate. He was my winner, dude. Him and Daboll, though, I mean, they've both done fantastic jobs with their organization. So
yeah.
But all right, well, that is going to wrap up Week 8 preview for Dial In with Fuzzy and Cap. However, Cap is out, so it's with Fuzzy and Baker. Thank you for joining us today, guys. I had an absolute blast with our first official live episode. It was nice to see chat pop in there for a little bit and giving us some feedback, which is, we've been itching to see how that would go, and I'm very, very pleased.
Yeah, we're looking. Hey, the live's a lot funner.
Oh yeah,
we'd love to get more interaction from you guys. We'll get a little bit more dialed in with a schedule so that you guys can kind of plan when to come by and see us. Yep. The more you guys let us know what you like, the better it's going to be for you. So looking forward to hearing more back from you.
Yep. But thanks again, guys. You can check us out over on Twitter at Official Dial In, Spotify at Dial In with Fuzzy and Cap, and here on YouTube with us at Dial In with Fuzzy and Cap. I will see you guys next week. We're going to be shooting for Tuesday, Saturdays from here on out. Just seems to work out a little bit better. If not Tuesdays, then definitely Wednesdays. But have a good one, guys. Thank you for hanging out with us today.
See you guys next week.